The truth about $5 Indians and stolen black indigenous wealth. Did you know that some white settlers paid just $5 to falsely register as Native American? This fraud gave them land, tribal benefits, and generational wealth while real indigenous people were erased. Let's break it down. In the late 1800s, the U.S. government passed the Dawes Act of 1887, forcing Native Americans onto government-approved tribal rolls in exchange for land allotments. These rolls became known as the Dawes Rolls, but white settlers saw an opportunity. For just $5, corrupt officials allowed them to falsely register as Native American, securing land that should have gone to real indigenous families. These individuals became known as $5 Indians. At the same time, many black Native Americans, people of both African and indigenous descent, were deliberately excluded. Due to systemic racism, they were labeled Negro instead of being recognized as full tribal members. Many black indigenous people were placed on freedmen rolls, separating them from their native identity. This classification denied them land, tribal rights, and generational wealth, while fake $5 Indians prospered. This fraud had devastating consequences. White families who falsely claimed native identity gained millions of acres of land, passing it down through generations. Meanwhile, black indigenous descendants struggled with lost heritage, lack of tribal recognition, and stolen opportunities. Even today, some tribes refuse to acknowledge black indigenous people, despite their deep ancestral ties. Yet, many descendants of $5 Indians still claim native identity and tribal benefits without ever having truly belonged. The history of $5 Indians isn't just a past injustice, it still affects indigenous and black communities today. Generational wealth, land, and identity were stolen, and the fight for recognition continues. Understanding this history helps to see how deeply racism and corruption shaped America's past and why acknowledging black indigenous identity is so important today. History books rarely tell this truth, and if they do, they are being erased and rewritten. Share this video to spread awareness about how black indigenous people were erased and how $5 Indians stole their rightful place. Many black Native Americans, people of both African and indigenous descent, were deliberately excluded. Due to systemic racism, they were labeled Negro instead of being